Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Christina and today is going to be my Pan That Palette for 2023 update for January. So this year my Pan That Palette is the Storybook Cosmetics Red Riding Hood, Little Red Riding Hood palette. It only has 6 shades inside, so I thought it would be one of the easier ones. And as you guys can see from this overview, we already have Pan. I pretty much said I wanted to do this one because it was basically almost a guaranteed successful project for me. And I think so far it's shaping out to be very easy, very successful, and I'm enjoying it. I just wanted to win this year. So we're gonna go ahead, I'm gonna go through each individual shade, tell you how many times I used it. I will also be sharing some eye look pictures with you guys and talking about things that I did throughout the month that really worked for me. Before we jump into today's video, definitely make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. I do a bunch of project panning content here on the channel, and if you like that kind of content, then maybe you'd like to stick around. So hit that button, and now let's get into these eyeshadows. So the first shade in the palette is the shade Red, which is a red. I only ended up using this one 5 times over the last month, and I used it as a blush almost every single one of those times. I'm pretty sure I took a picture of what it looked like when I was wearing it as a blush. I'll put it up on the screen for you right now. I would mix it with other blushes or just wear it on its own, and it was really pretty that way. Because it's more of a loose brush that's going into this one's not showing any sort of dip or anything yet, and it was only 5 uses, so I mean really 5 uses isn't that much, you know. Moving into the second shade, which I'm gonna go across, is Bad Wolf, which wolves are my favorite animal. I know this is a Little Red Riding Hood thing, but I've talked about this before. Why do wolves always have to be the bad guy? Rude. Anyways, Bad Wolf is like a gold, not a gold, is like a gray slate shimmer shade. Gorgeous, I love it. It's just so pretty. It's a nice cool tone as well, and it just works really well. If you've been here for a couple years, this reminds me of that one shade in the Persona Identity palette, which I really loved when we did that palette. I'm a sucker for shades like this. Bad Wolf I ended up using 12 times over the last month, but for the most part I would use this a lot to smudge out my eyeliner, which worked really well. It gave it a nice smokiness. I also used it on my lid a couple of times, and again it was really pretty that way because it just gave some smokiness. I did a little bit more smoky looks and deeper looks than I have been doing. Still really natural, still really wearable, but definitely a little bit more intense than I had been wearing, and I've been really enjoying it. I think it's really played up with my eye color and my eye shape, and it's just been a lot of fun playing with this palette and kind of getting acquainted with it over this month, because before throwing in this project I'd used it a handful of times but never dedicated time to it. So it feels nice kind of getting to know it. Moving on to the second row, the first shade is Basket, which as you guys can see there is Pan in this guy already. I ended up using Basket 18 times, so it only took me 18 uses to hit Pan on this. Actually, it was less than that. I hit Pan a few days ago, so I think it was around 15 uses before I hit Pan on it. And once I hit Pan on it, it's been going really fast. This is one of the reasons why I rolled this in though. These pans are so incredibly shallow. That was no use at all, so I don't think this will be difficult. It's really just going to be finishing it and just making sure I'm getting through it, but hitting Pan I think is going to be super easy on this palette. Basket has been a really good shade to either do my eyeliner with or to just deepen out my V. I'm wearing it today mixed with another brown as my eyeliner, and I put it in the V to deepen up my outer crease a little bit, and it just works really well for that. Otherwise it's basically a brown, so not much else to say. Moving next to that is Peril, which is the deep red shimmer shade, and I surprisingly didn't use this as much as I thought I would. I used it 3 times. I am wearing it today though, and what I ended up using for Peril, you guys will be seeing a picture of today's look and a couple of other looks I think I did with this. I found that this shade worked really well, or this palette in general works really well with the Coral Me Maybe palette from Essence. This one, I've been pairing these guys up for the last week and a half or so, and mixing this pink shimmer with the red shimmer makes a really pretty lid shade, which is what is on my lids right now, and it makes it a little less intense. I wore Peril on its own on my lid, and I didn't like how deep it was because it wasn't what I was going for, and unfortunately there's not a lighter shimmer in this palette, so I am having to supplement, which is fine because it helps me use other palettes. But I do wish there was a lighter shimmer in here so I can mix it with this one and lighten it up, because it's a little bit too intensely deep for me for my everyday looks. I could see this being really nice for a night out, But yeah, during daytime, I just thought it was a little bit too deep, a little too vampy on its own on my lid. I think if you have more lid space, it might look more diffused and prettier, but since I have such small lids, it just kind of sunk my eyes in. So I don't love it on its own. So this one is a learning curve. I'm gonna have to figure out a good way for me to use this and get a lot of use out of it. And then moving on to the bottom row and the last two. The first one is Journey, which is the like peachy, matte peachy tone. I ended up using this one 16 times. This one doesn't have pan in it, unlike Basket, which they've been used about the same amount. So it just goes to show how different eyeshadows can be, because again, this palette hasn't been used that much by me, so they're all pretty much starting at the same spot. But yeah, Journey doesn't have pan in it yet, and it's been used about as much as Basket. So again, it's nice to kind of see how different things are. I did use, I guess, less concentrated amounts of Journey because I use it as a crease color and I blend it in that way. It's another one that works really well with the Coral Me Maybe palette, because obviously it works well with coral. It's a peachy tone. So these two palettes have been really, really nice to play with lately, and I'm really happy that this project is allowing me to kind of like mix and match and see other palettes and get a lot more use out of my collection. It's been a lot of fun. Like, this has been probably so far the most fun I've had with a Pan That palette, and I don't feel so like tied down to one thing. And then moving into the last shade, Woods, but I'm actually surprised I didn't use more because of it's a very me shade. It's just like a light warm brown. Like, that is a shade I should be able to use all the time, but I only ended up using it 10 times, and there is a dip starting in there, but so far no like major wear. I mean, they all pretty much, other than the two red shades, every single one of these now has a dip in it. Honestly, I thought I'd have a little bit more wear out of Woods, but I mean, 10 uses is still really, really good for me. I don't wear eyeshadow every single day, or if I do, I've been doing like one wash of color, something really quick. So I mean, 10 uses is good. Overall, pretty pleased with how often I've been using this. Just really impressed we already have pan in here. I feel like that was so easy to hit pan on, but I always say it's easy to hit pan, hard to actually finish shades. So we will see how we do. I think for next month, I'm not gonna set any like super hard goals. I would like to try and hit pan in Journey and see how long it takes me for that one. And if I can, I would like to try and maybe hit pan on Woods, but I'm not going to make that a set goal. I am going to try and make it a set goal that I hit pan on Journey next month. And then comparing all of the other numbers, see what happens with those. But I think I could definitely get one more pan next month. Again, to reiterate, hitting pan has always been super easy for me. It's been finishing shadows that has been very difficult. So we'll see how that goes. And that, guys, is the entire update for my Pan That palette in 2023. I have really been enjoying this one. Like I said, it's just been nice to be able to like use other palettes in my collection, and I think I'm going to be trying to rotate other palettes that I can use with this one to kind of get to know my collection a little bit better. I feel like when I've done bigger Pan That palettes, I just feel really stuck to using that one. Not stuck, but I hyper focus on it so much that I don't really allow myself to go into other ones. So this one being a smaller one that kind of does need other shades sometimes, it's been really nice to be able to like branch out and use other things. And I've really been enjoying this Essence Coral Me Maybe palette. It is such a good little affordable palette. Like, it's so good, and it has nice wear in it now, and that's all because I've been actually able to play with it in this project. So it's been great, and I hope you guys are enjoying this. Definitely make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and remember, there's always magic to be found, and I hope that means I see all of you in my next video. Bye!
Alright, ooh baby, just hold tight. We're up at the moonlight, believe in the magic. On side, we'll make it feel just right. Just look at that bright light.